So welcome to a very slightly different long-term review of a motorcycle. It's Nick here, BikingTravels, and I'm just doing a review on my Honda CB500X 2022 model, which I've owned for a couple of months now, and for the last 5 weeks I've been travelling around Europe, so on all sorts of terrain, like the twisties we're in now, motorways, rain, sun, strange sleety stuff, etc. But it's been 5,000 miles, 8,000 kilometres in just about sorry about that. It's been about 5,000 miles, 8,000 kilometres in 5 weeks so far, and just thought I'd give you an update on my thoughts on the bike. So it's not a standard review. I haven't got all the technical spec. I haven't rehearsed this, so you'll have to bear with me. But the upside of that is you get to see the scenery. I'll concentrate on the road, you have a look at the scenery. So I bought the bike brand new in middle of March, and I made sure it had got its first service in at 600 miles, 1,000 kilometres before I came away. I made some minor changes to it. I added Hepco and Becker crash bars, or tank protection bars, so they're the high ones. I've got Barkbuster handguards on, and the plastic, or the frame and the plastic handguards. I've also got Bridgestone AX41 tyres, so they're a knobbly type tyre, so maybe 50-50 or 60-40 depending on where you read. I've also got the SW Motec Ion, I think they are foot pegs, which are slightly broader front to back, to provide you with additional comfort, especially when you are off-road. And I've also got engine bars on there too, with the skid pan by R&G. So I think that's it for the modifications really. But apart from that, the bike is standard. So how has it coped so far with the 5,000 miles of all this different type of terrain? Well, I think you can see that at the moment we're heading uphill, up a mountain pass. I'm in Switzerland at the moment, and it's fine. As long as you're in the right gear, then there's absolutely no issue at all. Although it's not quite as zippy as other bikes might be, but it's zippy enough. It does run out a little bit of oomph if you're trying to overtake going uphill, but overall it seems fine. So power wise it's fine. My favourite feature of the bike is its frugality. It's doing about 3.2 litres per 100 kilometres, which I think is about 88 or high 80s miles per gallon, imperial gallon that is, which is, you know, excellent really. The one negative side that I would call out to counterbalance that top side, and it shouldn't really affect a great deal, is the heat that the silencer, the tailpipe, produces. I inadvertently, with my soft luggage touched on the 2-in-1 silencer, and it burnt a hole in it. So that's my fault for not checking, but you can get heat guards which make sure that nothing touches that silencer. Even so though, the amount of heat generated coming out of the tailpipe itself, the gas is very hot. I fixed my soft pannier with some duct tape and that duct tape has not touched at all the tailpipe. I've got quite a decent gap, maybe 2-inch gap between the tailpipe and the silencer now, but at one point I had probably a 1-inch, 2.5 centimeters gap, and what I found was that the duct tape was melting. It was being peeled off, shriveled up and peeled off, just the heat of the emissions. So at traffic lights and road standstills, if you can believe that there are those in the countries that I've been in, but looking at this you might not believe so. I turned the engine off and just wait, because some of the traffic lights are really serious. You've got like a 3-minute wait. So that's sort of like the major pro, fuel economy. Major negative is that silencer, which, unless you're taking soft luggage or you've got hard luggage and you're too close, you've got something flammable in the bottom of your pannier, shouldn't really be an issue, unless your passenger touches it with a leg or any other part of the body for that matter. So that's sort of like the major pros and cons out the way. But overall, just working sort of left to right, front to rear type of thing, the clutch is really, really light. It's, you know, very very easy. It's a sort of slick shift type clutch as well. Gearbox, so you don't actually have to use it if you get the revs right, but I tend to. The lights, I haven't ridden very much at night, so I don't know. In the last 5.5 weeks I tend to pack up before it gets dark, because on occasion I'm camping, and so you want to set up in the light, and if it is getting dark, then really I'm packing in anyway and stopping at a guest house or whatever. The tunnels that I've been through, it seems fine. You know, your eyes adjust slower in tunnels from the bright sunlight into the dark, so that you'll have to figure out yourself or see other reviews for. The horn is the typical motorcycle horn, the please excuse me, do you think I might be able to come through possibly if you don't mind. And the indicators are very accessible just underneath the horn, so, and a single push to cancel. The dashboard I find very legible. Some people have complained it's not bright enough. It's just a very simple LCD dashboard. I think it's got a couple of modes, but I've landed on a mode which might be the standard one, which I really like, so I've left it as that. And you can change it from, you know, kilometers to miles, and there's a few other measurements you can do. Average miles per gallon now, average miles per gallon overall, number of litres used since I last reset the trip, all that sort of stuff. Excuse me just whilst I concentrate a bit here. But it doesn't have riding modes. It's a pretty basic bike really. I think it costs about 6,400 in the UK, around that price anyway, new. So you can't expect too many bells and whistles. And for the budget that I was looking at, it was just about right, really. You might notice I've got a sat-nav, I've got a Garmin Zumo XT mounted on the little bracket that comes as standard, but I've had to use a third-party mounting billet. I think that's R&G too, and then just wire that into the ignition system. The screen is adjustable, but you do have to, it can't be on the fly, you have to stop and use the Allen keys to adjust it. For the first few days of my trip it was in the lower position, and then I've raised it to the higher position. The higher position now means that it's hitting the top of my helmet or visor as opposed to full on the visor. Something I should add is I'm about 6 foot 12 stone, so sort of fairly light build, I guess. That might have a bearing. You might be shorter or taller, so it would be different for you, but there are third-party screens available. On the right hand side is the brake, which works very well. The front brake, it's now got twin discs at the front. I've experienced no brake fade whatsoever, which is something that you could expect, I guess, down some of the mountain passes I've been. The Hepco Pass and the Grimsel Pass, and forgotten the third one, the Duchen Pass, I think it is. All one after the other, and the brakes have been fine. So that's good. Throttle's very light, it's quite responsive, no issues there. And I think that's it at the front. Oh, it's got hazard warning lights just under the stop and start, engine stop start button, or on off button rather. Between the on off button and the start is the hazard warning light. So that's that. Moving down to the engine, it's 47 horsepower, so it's A2 friendly. It's given me enough power. I didn't need more power for my particular trip, which is sort of part one. I'm on part one. In total, around the 6,000 mile, 10,000 kilometers over a 6-week period. Well, I'm 5 weeks in, so I've done about the 5,000, maybe a tad more. So it's all going very well. I didn't want to rush it because it's all about the journey and enjoying the scenery, and I've seen some fabulous scenery. Anything bigger and you tend to want to race it through, I think. So it's been perfect for that. Comfort wise, vibration, I'm aware of the vibration of the tyres because I've got the Bridgestone Battlax AX41s. They are very knobbly, a 50-50 tyre, so even if you're just rolling the bike along you can feel it going so I can't really talk about vibration. What I can say is comfort wise, as I say, I'm 6 foot 12 stone thereabouts. There is room for me on the main saddle and all my camping gear on the rear saddle, packed ice, and that's been fine. At the start, because I burnt my pannier, I had to buy additional luggage, so I've had to go higher. And what tended to happen was at the beginning, within the first few days of using it, it would creep forward, or I would set it up so that it was forward, and I'd be very cramped. But I found the solution to that, and make sure with the additional rock straps that it stays absolutely rock solid where I put it, and there's none of this creeping forward malarkey. So it's fine. It's probably the same weight as a child, not an adult. Would I take an adult? Yes, but not on this trip. I think I'd want more power, especially for overtaking, because you can get stuck behind some very slow moving vehicles on these mountain passes. The gearbox is very smooth, nothing much to add there. I would say and agree that first gear is very short, especially on hairpins. It's somewhere between 1 and 2. A lot of the hairpins, the way I ride anyway, I'm sure people take it in third or whatever, but first is a little low, and sometimes you can't go around in second because you're following traffic, and there's traffic right up your tail, so engine note wise, that's quite pleasing. I wear earplugs. My crash helmet is quite noisy, but I'm aware of the induction note is quite nice, quite pleasant, not too loud with the standard exhaust, which is very ugly. But overall, it's built to a budget. It's you know, a bit plasticky in places, but I think most bikes probably are these days. But as I say, for 6,400, it's given me excellent service. I've just had to do the normal, keep the chain lubed and adjusted. I've just done a few times. I haven't got note of exactly when. But, it's not too arduous to do anyway. And it will be due its next service when I get back to the UK. But anyway, I hope you found some use from this review. If nothing else, enjoyed the scenery. As I say, I'm in Switzerland at the moment, and it's been a pleasure talking at you. If there's anything I've left out that you wanted to know, please drop a comment, and I'll endeavour to answer when I can. And if you did like it, then please do give it a like. That really helps the channel, which is really all around motorcycling and travelling, and this leg is all around the CB500X and camping in southern part of Europe, or south of the UK. Second part is going to be another 6 weeks or so, but northwards, so Denmark, Sweden, Norway, etc. But anyway, the other thing is I hope by showing you on the road how this bike has behaved. I know that van isn't moving very fast, but white van man quite often drive very fast because they know the roads, and they think they're indestructible anyway. Sorry, that's a generalism. I know there's another YouTuber who's got a thing about white van man always being stuck behind them, so it's quite ironic that that's me at the moment. But I'm not stuck, he's doing fine to me. And I don't know whether you can see my Garmin, the roads which are coming up. If I just get a moment, I'll just show you there a little bit closer. So that's what I've got to look forward to. I'll leave it running just for a few moments so you can get a bit more of a feel for the bike in the real world. I mean, I haven't shown you it in traffic because there hasn't been any. You have to put up with my style of riding, which is not particularly aggressive, but you've also had to see me work round the hairpins on my knobbly tyres, but at least it's dry. So I'm in second now, nothing around there, so I'm okay. So it's all good. Anyway, I'll shut up, just enjoy the scenery, and as I say, please give me a like. Have a look at some of the other videos if you're interested at all in how the bike is performing, although it's more geared around the journey and my learning. The fact that I've embarked on a big trip solo camping, which I've never really done before, totally unprepared with the navigation system. I thought I knew it, but I didn't, and so yeah, it's all about learning. But I've learned quite a bit about this bike, and I will be taking it north for the second leg, coming up shortly. Right, I keep saying this, but this time it really is the end. Just enjoy. Oh, if you wanted to know, this is the Albula Pass.